Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chai with Us podcast. This is episode number 28. I am Erica, the personal developer.
Hi, and I'm Ivana from Okolo Isabels.
Yay! Today, we're going to talk about three things that we have learned through experience.
Yes. First, I'm drinking a peppermint tea. What about you?
I thought I was going to have time to drink coffee, so I'm drinking like a decaf cappuccino, but I also made tea, and I was like, whatever, let me just have tea. So I have a ginger tea with chocolate soy milk. So I'm planning
Ooh,
on, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I will end up drinking both. Oh boy, I'm very excited about this subject actually.
yeah.
Now that I started writing it down, I'm like, hmm. I think that mine are very general, but
Okay.
deep at the same time.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I don't know. Do you want to go ahead and start?
Sure, I'll start. So the
Mhm.
first one that I have is one thing you can learn only through experience is whom you can trust. That is so
Mhm.
important. I'm the type of person that tends to believe everybody and trust everybody, and I open up and share so much of my personal life. And I
Mhm.
think over experience, I've learned that not everybody is the same way, which means that the information that I'm telling them doesn't mean that they're going to keep in confidence. And that has come to like bite me in the butt before. So I've
Yeah.
learned over time is just to like maybe not share so openly, but to like share only information, like little information at the beginning to see, is this person worthy of my trust? Is this person worthy of the information I'm sharing with them?
Mhm. Nice. And sometimes it's like I always sometimes I have conversations with my boyfriend and we are like it's so hard to understand when people do you harm
Yes.
and when people like they do things that are like so you cannot understand what they're doing, but
Mm-hmm.
I always tell him that like you are such a good person, like it doesn't fit your brain that someone would do
Right.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I see you and I understand when you're saying like I because you are so open, you are very
Right.
open, like my boyfriend is very open. i am
Mm-hmm.
I am a little bit the opposite. I am quite open when I'm asked to talk and stuff like that, but I'm quite reserved as well. I don't go
Okay.
around and telling my life, and
Mm-hmm.
so exact maybe I do need to trust more, in people,
Mm-hmm.
but I do understand what it is like when you feel that, oh, because I'm used to see people that I love who trust everybody, who will
Yeah.
tell everything, they would sit down and tell everything that's happening,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, okay, so this person, it looks like I cannot trust this person, and it's
Right.
and it's a learning experience.
And it's very painful when you first learn it, especially if it was somebody
Yes.
that was very close. Like I recently lost a friend. I have no idea why we're not friends anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like all the intimate details that I shared with her are out in the open, which is fine because I shared them when I wanted to. But
Mm-hmm.
still, it's still this like pain that you experience inside when somebody has betrayed your trust. I think that's one of the deepest pains you can feel because you're
Yeah.
you're so open, you shared so vulnerably, and all of a sudden here's this person who you thought you could trust forever turns the other way, and that is a very deep hurt.
Mm-hmm. Such a disappointment. I'm very
Yes.
reserved, but it did happen to me before, and it's such a, as you said, it's painful. It's you feel so
Mhm.
disappointed. It's like, and you weren't expecting. It's a surprise. It's just like, and it's confusing at first because you
Mhm.
don't want to believe it. Oh, yeah.
And then you start to question yourself because then you're
Mm,
like, oh, well, can I trust this other person? Can I trust this other person? Then you start to question like your own, like maybe my intuition is not as good as it used to be. So
yeah, and your
that's hard too
judgment.
because you're questioning yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. I think this is a learning experience because I mean, if you want to be open, then you are exposed to those types of situations, right?
Mhm.
And it's something that you can trust your intuition all the way, but sometimes, life happens and you just have to move on and just
Yeah.
understand that the person was not worthy of whatever you gave to
That's
this
when I'm
person.
reminded of that saying,
Yeah,
sometimes for a season, a lifetime, or what was the other thing?
a reason.
A reason. And
Yes.
times we don't know that when that's going to happen, or you might not, you might think it'll never happen with this one person, and all of a sudden it does. And then you just
Yes.
have to accept that they were there in your life for a season, and that's so beautiful, and you still shared beautiful experiences together, but now it's time to let them go.
Yeah. Do you think you are better at knowing who to trust? With time, did you got better?
No, because
No.
I'm gonna be honest, no, because I'm so open, and I want
Mhm.
people to know deep, like me on a deep level, because I want to get to know people on a deep level. So I always share very openly and very deep information, because I want us to form that relationship, because I don't have any siblings. So to me, my friends are like my brothers and sisters. And
Mhm.
that's how I look at them, and that's the kind of information I share with them. And so I unfortunately know, but you know what? I don't regret that, because at the time, like, I wanted to share, and I am proud of sharing information.
Yeah, I mean, it's not on you. You were just
Right.
being your best and doing your best. It's on the person who, who
Mhm.
did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The other for me, the first one is I learned, and it was hard to understand this one. It was tough because since again I am reserved, and I will only tell you something if I actually feel something, and I will think about it like 10,000 times before I tell you, especially if it is something that I don't know, I'm mad at you, I don't know, something like that. So since words, right now I'm way better at it, but words were very difficult. Like for me to verbalize things like I'm in
Okay.
pain, I love you, the good and the bad. It was very
Mhm.
hard for me to verbalize. So every time someone would verbalize things to me, I would believe them.
Okay.
So life taught me that people are capable of saying anything.
Okay. So it's kind of similar.
Yes. And it's like, don't trust the words, trust the actions.
Yes, absolutely.
Because in the past, I have trusted the words
Mhm.
and the action was right there, but I was like, but he loves me.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, don't trust the words, trust the actions. And
Yes.
I think I got better at it. I think I got way better. When people tell me things like, I love you so much, oh, you are
Mm,
so beautiful, you are, all that. I'm like, wait a minute, let me see how this person behaves. Let me see if this
exactly.
person is uh, saying good things about me and talking badly about other person,
Mhm.
while we're talking. And this was like I had like a haha moment when I was like, Erica, you know what? It's not about what people say; it's about what people do.
Exactly.
So I brought this to my life, to my relationships, and everything. And even this goes when people do you harm, and when people are great. Because sometimes people can tell you something very aggressive, and just watch them. Maybe they're depressed, maybe they're
Mhm.
anxious.
Mhm.
So I am very careful about this. When people
Mhm.
tell me good things or bad things, or in a good way or in a bad way, I try not to get so caught up in the words. When you
Mhm.
receive a message and you're like, you see, she told me that. I mean, don't get too caught up in the words,
Yeah.
because the person may be having a bad day. The person may have written the message like in 3 seconds and didn't have the time to read it. I,
Mhm.
I, I don't know. So many things can happen. And this was something that I had to learn through experience,
Mhm.
because I was a little bit like you. Like I trusted anything. And since it
Mhm.
was so hard for me to communicate something, when I said I love you, damn, I really loved you. Like
Yeah.
seriously. And I've been loving you for 5 months before I could actually, say the word.
Verbalize it. Yeah.
So when people came to me and verbalized things, I was like, of course, because I mean that's very hard. It's very hard to
Mhm.
verbalize, right? So I trusted whatever whatever they were
Yeah.
verbalizing.
But
And
you had to go through you had to like take some time, and only over time were you able to
yes,
see a person's behavior, because they're not always the first
exactly.
people that you meet, because everyone always puts on a mask the first time.
It's
But it's
true.
only after the time that you spend with them were you able to see what is their true behavior like,
Yeah.
and does it match to what they're saying.
Yeah, and I did have to learn to be patient and to not jump on conclusions based on what people told me. Because at the beginning, it's true, you don't know the person. You really don't
Mm-hmm.
know the person. So I learned how to be patient
Yes.
and actually wait for people to give me more information before I jump
Mm-hmm.
into conclusions. Uh, if I met you, I don't know, 1 week and you love me, I mean, come on, what's happening? let's let's
You're
see.
just so wonderful.
Yeah, I know, thank you, but there are a lot of wonderful people out there. Um, and yeah, and it was a very valuable experience because I learned how to sit down. When you're like anxious and you want to know what the person is about, I learned how to tone down this a little bit and just
Mm-hmm.
wait for people to show themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess I learned how to let people be,
Be themselves.
without trying to figure out or they said that. So it helped me a lot. This lesson has helped me a lot, and I do think I'm better at it.
Yeah, sounds like it. The second one I have is that the thing you can learn through experience is that time heals all wounds. And this goes from anything from like a breakup, something bad that happened to you when you were younger. Over time, like, but certain amount of time has to pass, you do become healed. It's just that you have to take the active steps to get there, and to know that, yes, like you will feel better. But when you're going through it, it doesn't feel like that. When you break up with someone, like all you're doing is crying and your world has ended and you feel like you'll never feel again. And it's really like after that has happened to you, do you realize, okay, like you can get through it, it does get better, you will
Yeah.
come out the other side of the tunnel.
Yeah. Oh, I love what you said. It's so beautiful, and we forget about this so many times. As you said,
Yes.
when we are in the situation, it looks like it's never going to be over. We're gonna feel like this forever. And do you think that right now, when you are in a difficult situation, do you see the light at the end of the tunnel? Do you remind yourself of
More
this?
so now than ever before, because I know, and I've been through it, and I'm glad I have, because I've been through those experiences. Now I know that they're going to pass. It's just going to take some time to grieve, and that's okay. So I give myself that time, but then I go back to my practices, and I know that they help me, and that is yoga, meditation, silence,
Mm-hmm.
journaling has been so tremendously helpful to me, because it allows me to process things in my head and put them on a piece of paper and let things go. So now I have active steps that I've learned through personal experience that I know that work for me when something bad happens, and how to get through that. So yes, I think I have become better, and it's almost like I'm waiting for a bad experience to happen, because I feel excited, because I know how to handle it, if that makes any sense. Not that I want bad things to happen, it's just
Mm-hmm.
that I have the tools in my toolbox and I know how to fix it now.
Wow. You know what? Just related to what you said, another thing that you can only learn from experience is how to lift yourself up.
Yes. Well, I like that. How to lift yourself up. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because you have to fall and fall and try new things until you
Mhm.
get to this point that you're like, okay, I know what to do to lift myself up.
Mhm.
I know that this morning I need to put an energetic song. I
Mhm.
know that today I need meditation. I know that right now all I need is silence. And this
Yes.
is like, whoa, this is one of the biggest things you can ever learn.
And sometimes what happens is when you're at the bottom, like at the worst possible place, sometimes you learn something beautiful, like, for example, who you can trust. When I was
Mhm.
in a hospital in India, I didn't have an attendant. I didn't have someone there with me to help me, take me to get tests, to get my test results, to get me medicine. So I had no one, and I was at the mercy of other people in my hospital room, and they stepped in and they helped. And this was complete strangers that were willing to take me to get a test done, to go buy my medicine for me, to get my test results. And so, like, at the bottom, sometimes you learn who you can trust, and you have to put your faith into like the universe and say, okay, the universe is protecting me. Here is somebody I can trust. And so sometimes like good things come out of bad things that happen to
Yeah.
you.
Yes, true story. Okay, my second one, of course, it's related to everything you said, as always, is how to ask for help.
Mm.
I learned that with time.
Yes.
Didn't know how. It wasn't in my vocabulary. What? Ask for help? People helping me?
Mhm.
Me not having to do everything by my own? No,
Mhm.
I didn't know how to ask for help. I told my story a few times over here that I did ask for help when I needed help when I was a kid, didn't receive that help. And so obviously my brain went like, never ask for help again. The
Mhm.
word, the world is terrible. Don't ask for help. You are alone. Just get over with it. And I had to learn that this is not real. It's not true. It was only
Mhm.
in my head that actually people love helping,
Yes, they do.
that and that it's okay to ask for help. I really
Mhm.
didn't know how. It was like, and I told you before, like in this episode, it was hard for me to verbalize like anything.
Mhm.
So imagine asking for help. I was like, "Uh." And now I'm like, okay, I need help
Yeah.
with simple things. Seriously. Now I'm like, yeah, help me. Yeah, cook me food, please. I don't care. And it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
Only a couple of years ago, I learned how to ask for help. I had to
Mhm.
start slowly. If you
Do you
want to
think you're better
learn,
at it now?
yes, I'm way
What
better. I'm
so
way
what has
better.
happened that now you're better at it? What led to that?
I think it's a question of like worthiness,
Okay.
you know. And the difference now is that I ask for help and I enjoy when people help me.
Yes.
I wasn't feel I didn't feel worthy of being helped. It's just
Mhm.
crazy stuff that happens to a kid's brain when they go to trauma.
Yeah.
So I think it's a matter of worthiness. And it's weird because if you are used to be the one who is always doing things, your body is like, I'm supposed to do something right now, and it's frustrating that you cannot do it. So the difference for me is that right now I actually enjoy when people do things for me,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
I ask, and you know what? For me, it was just, if you want to learn how to, you have to do it. There's no other way.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna fool you, but you can start with little things. Just start with
Mhm.
little things, and then that's how I do everything. I start with
Mhm.
little things. So ask for little things and see how that goes, and then grow up from there. And ask help, but go to someone you trust.
Yes.
If you have like a very good friend, if you have like family, it's easier to start with people that you trust and that they
Mhm.
love you, and start asking for help. And then you will see that it will be very uncomfortable the first time, second and third time. You'll be like, your body, I felt like my entire body like, oh, what should we be doing now? And I was like, breathe, you can do this.
Mhm.
Just tell yourself that you deserve to be helped. And people actually love helping. Trust me,
Yes.
they do love helping. I love
That's an.
helping, and
Mhm.
you
I
probably
do too.
love helping as well.
They do.
It's crazy, like, you don't know how to ask for help, but you help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Some of us overhelp, like,
Mhm.
so probably to cover our need
Mhm.
to have help as well. So we help
Yes.
so we don't have to ask. mm, we can do this.
Mhm.
What's your third one?
The third one is what love really is and what love is not. So before, I think it's easy to have all these concepts and these ideas of what is love, watching them from movies, comics, maybe like looking at our parents and seeing what love is. people that have modeled love to us, maybe from our friends' relationships. But it's only once you go through that yourself do you really have that feeling of like, this is love. And then you have that other feeling of like, oh, maybe this is not love. And it took me, when I was first in a relationship, I painted this person on a pedestal, like, oh, he's so wonderful, he does this and he does this, and I believe everything that he says. But like you said, I wasn't matching their words with their behavior. So I was always just listening to what they were saying instead of looking at their behavior. And so a bad relationship, I'm so thankful for the bad relationship I had, because it taught me like, this is not what love is. This is not how things should be. And if I didn't have that, I would never know the difference. I would always just like, if you've never had your heart broken, how do you know that you're capable of love? Does that make sense? Like, I think
It makes sense.
when you know what love is not, then you know what love is. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
have to know the negative to know the positive.
Wow.
So for me, like, I trusted him. I believed everything that he said, but I should have looked at his actions. And I wish I was better at that. Now I am. Now I look at the person's actions and not their words, and I decide, do they match up? If I had done that at the beginning, I think I would be in a totally different place right now than I am. But I'm glad for that. I'm grateful for the heartbreak, because it taught me like, here's the bad experience. You can get through this. And it allowed me to use the toolbox I talked about in the other episode to get through it. And I did. And now I know that like, you know there's a person for a season, a reason, and a lifetime, and you never know at the beginning, but only experience will tell you what they're there for.
Yeah, that is so true. And I mean, you are better at it because you have been through it.
Exactly. But if I'd never been through it, I wouldn't know.
Exactly. So that's why we're calling these like things that we learn through experience. Because if you are blessed to have great examples of
Mhm.
relationships and different beautiful environment, this is like one
Mhm.
percent of the population, by the way.
Exactly.
Don't
It's
feel
true.
special. It's like 1% of the population. The population lives in a bubble, and everything is beautiful. The rest of us, we have to struggle to figure out what the hell is going on. So
Exactly.
for the majority of us, it's like we go out and look for a relationship, and
Mhm.
then we tend to recreate whatever we had going on at our
Mhm.
homes, and these things happen, and luckily enough, we learn with what
Yes.
happens. And it's so crazy because it's like when you get out of a relationship and you're like, I could be in a different place and everything. But when the right person comes, you'll be like,
Mm.
oh, thank God I'm ready for this. And it's going to be so good. Like,
Yeah.
so good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's your third
um,
one?
my third one, I had to learn through experience to follow my intuition.
Oh, yes, that's a good one.
I have a very good intuition, but
Mhm.
I don't trust myself enough. I am better at it, but I know that I can be even better at it. Those things that you're like, this person, I don't know.
Mhm.
Your
Yeah.
intuition is like screaming at you, and you don't listen.
Yes.
Or you ask for advice, and then you go and do whatever the other person says to you.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen like too much for me because I'm a little bit crazy. I'm like, if I say I'm gonna do something, like probably tomorrow I'm gonna be doing
Mhm.
this thing. But in some situations in my life, I do know something, and it's not so much about big things, because regarding the big things, it's so strong in me. Like, when it
Mhm.
comes to my purpose and everything, it's so strong in me that I'm like, you can tell me whatever you want. I am not
Mhm.
gonna listen. I really don't
Mhm.
care. But small things, on my like on my day to day, I feel like I could trust myself more.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sometimes I am like, I trust too much on what other people are like saying when I
Yes.
already know what's up. I know what's
Yeah.
up, and then somebody says something, and then I'm like, oh, okay. I get
Mhm.
distracted. I trust the other
Mhm.
person, and then I'm like, I was right all along. Like, what the hell? Erica, what the hell? I am way better. It's true that I am way
Mhm.
better on following my intuition. And it's good that we're having this conversation, because I never thought that to trust more in your intuition you would have to have more self-confidence. I never
Yes.
related these
Or
two.
self-trust.
Yes, but
Yeah.
it's true. You have to trust yourself in order to trust yourself, your intuition.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna work more on my self-confidence because I'm quite confident, but sometimes I forget, right?
Mhm.
I forget where I came from. I forget what I'm all about.
Mhm.
And it's on these little things. And I know that I could make my life easier if I
Yeah.
worked on this part because I do have very good intuition. I knew I have, we all have, right?
Yeah.
But I knew I'm very connected to what's going on. But then I let the mental chatter or
Yeah.
something
Or
from the outside
yeah.
to, make me think differently or act
Yeah.
differently with
I think
little
it's because
things.
you want to give the other person the benefit of the doubt. You want to believe
Yes.
that they have the best intentions because when
Yeah.
you're a good person, you think everybody else is a good person. So for
Yeah.
you to meet a bad person, your brain can't comprehend that. It's like, why does this person want to harm me? Like, what did I do to them? Like, why do they want to hurt me? And you just cannot get around that
Yeah.
concept. And it's very difficult to explain or to even believe that. Like, I have a
Yeah.
hard time believing that because I want to heal so many people and I want to make them feel better. And that's why I love listening to people's stories and I give them my full undivided attention
Mm-hmm.
because I want them to share openly and to process their story and process their trauma. And so to me, when somebody wants to do me harm, I cannot understand why because I just want to do good for people. So like for me,
Yeah.
it's so difficult to understand or believe that.
Yeah, it's true. It's all, yeah, it's related also to giving the people the benefit of the doubt. And I do have something where I can see both sides of the stories always.
Mhm.
I
Mhm. Yes.
can always, like you are telling me the story of a psychopath who killed 10 people, I
Yeah.
can find good in it.
That's
I
the
can.
Gemini in you
Yeah, I
because
always
we see
see.
both sides to everything.
Exactly. We always see both sides. So I
Mhm.
always question myself, which is good. I
Mhm.
think that's good. But sometimes it doesn't go in our favor, I think.
Yeah. I think it's so important to trust your body, to trust in the here and the now, and not to be so much in your head, but to be in your body and
Mm-hmm.
say, like, why is my stomach upset? Like, why do I get those butterflies in my stomach? Like, what is going
Yeah.
on in this situation? And then listen to yourself. Don't listen to like your head or what's trying to rationalize it, but listen to why does your body feel this way?
Yes. Don't try to rationalize it so much. I'm gonna work on that. I think it's a very good
I think I'm going
personal
to work on that
development,
too because,
personal
yeah,
development work for this month. I think it's good. I'm gonna pay more attention to that.
yes,
Yeah.
me too. That's a good
Okay.
one. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Okay, we're done, right?
Yeah,
We gave our three. It went so
yeah.
fast. It was very
So
quick.
we want to know from our audience, and we want to know what are some things that you only learned through experience that you had to go through yourself. So please tell us, comment, share, like us.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I'm curious because I'm sure I'm gonna learn something. I just learned something right now. I'm very happy. It's so cool. Yeah, that's it, everybody. Thank you very much for watching and listening. See you next week.
Sounds good. Bye.